Hi, I'm Dr. Shaunna Menard, and this is Six Figure Health Coach. And in this series, we interview some great case studies of people who have created six or multiple six figures as a health coach. This is the reason that I wrote my book, Six Figure Health Coach. I know most health coaches out there are struggling. First, they don't even know it's even possible. And then sometimes they think, well, it's just automatic. And it's not. It is not automatic. And most health coaches out there are struggling to make the difference they know they were born to make and to create a sustainable income. And so now, a few years into this work, helping health coaches create six and multiple six figures, I wanted to kind of peel back the curtains and show you some of these amazing people, and let's dive into their secrets. How is it that they're actually doing this? So with me today, all the way from Athens, Greece, is the amazing Clio Stoidis. And so Clio, welcome.
Thank you, Dr. Shaunna. It's a pleasure to be here.
Awesome. Well, let's go back and let's share your story. Well, let's start off with the punchlines so that we'll hook them into this. What kind of designation would you say that you have? How much have you earned, or sort of what category would you classify yourself in as a health coach?
Well, I am 1 month short of earning 200,000, so multiple six figures. And it's been such an exciting journey, and it's all thanks to you, your support, and your process and your passion in supporting us.
Well, it's my favorite thing to do. We need to have more of you getting your healing gifts out there into the world. So let's roll it back. So Clio, one of our many success stories, and just so amazing. And it just feels so good to be able to do this work, but it means so much more. And it's not about the money, but you got to make enough money so that it's not about the money. And it's what that lifestyle is and what it allows you to do. So hang on, grab a pen. You'll probably want to take some notes. So let's take it all the way back to when we first met, Clio. Where were you living at the time? Where were you at? What had you been doing before? Kind of give us a sense of your life before we met, maybe even before you became a health coach. What was your life like? What were you doing profession-wise, all that kind of stuff?
Sure. My life was very different back then. I was a lawyer. I was working as a lawyer in Paris. So I was living in Paris, and I was not fulfilled at all. I had actually had a couple of flares because I have Crohn's disease. So that led me to reconsider my path. But that's what I was doing, being a lawyer in Paris. And I had flirted with the idea of becoming a health coach for some years, but I had always given myself excuses of lack of time, lack of money. So, but it wasn't until I really made a committed decision to do it that I did it. Maybe a committed decision to not living the way that I was living, this unfulfilled way. Of
Yeah.
course, there was great things about my job, but it was mainly unfulfilling. So I made a committed decision, and then that's how it happened. And I enrolled in the Institute for Integrative Nutrition and became a health coach.
Okay, and as many of you listening, if you're a health coach or have struggled with your health, a lot of times in retrospect, you can see the trail of breadcrumbs. Every once in a while, you go back and you look at your life and you're like, I think I know why I had to go through that so that I can help people now through that. And everything, I always say all of that, well, pardon me, but crap you go through is good fertilizer for your dreams. So all of that hardship that as you're trying to figure out how do you get on the other side of this health challenge or whatever challenge it is, you're figuring it out unfortunately the hard way. I mean, if you can find someone who's done what you want to do that. I'm a big believer in hiring mentors, coaches, people who know what to do. We don't have to do it the hard way, but sometimes we're doing something and we don't know anyone else who's gotten on the other side of it. I didn't know anyone else who'd done this, who'd become a six-figure health coach. I didn't know anyone, but I needed to replace my medical income as a doctor. And you're here with Crohn's, you're like, well, I'm following the doctor's advice and it's still not, this is not it. And I'm stressed out and this is not really the life I want to live. But that contrast really helps us clarify, chisel out what we do want, what we would prefer. Healthy body, more time, more ease, more loving relationships, all that good stuff. All right, so now you're a health coach. Amazing, amazing school, amazing training, and you're a health coach. And so now what? How did you hear about me? How did you and what led you to, and where were you at when we started? Like what were some of the things that you were struggling with or wondering about?
So I met you. Actually, I was introduced to you through the Institute for Integrative Nutrition. You had given a talk. I was it was online for me, but your talk was very impactful. You had interviewed also as a health coach, a client. So for me, that was as an aspiring health coach, that was very interesting to me. And you had done this with your signature smile, and you were so approachable. So I booked a call with you. Um, and yes, what I had been struggling before was really, I had just graduated. I wasn't sure. I was when I started IAN, I wasn't sure that I wanted to be a health coach. I just enrolled for my information, but then when I graduated, I was 100% sure that that's what I wanted to do professionally, that I could actually help people, but I had no idea how to do that, who to help. Obviously, somebody who had Crohn's, because that's what I had gone through, and but I didn't know where they were. I didn't know nothing. I was very lost, and I didn't know if I wanted to help with. I had learned so much knowledge from the Institute for Integrative Nutrition that I did not know how to utilize,
Mhm.
and in what form. So even your call, our first call, was very. It brought me clarity to me with your questions. So. Um, because I got clarity through your questions, it just made sense that I wanted to further collaborate with you.
Yeah, awesome. It seems obvious in retrospect. So you went there mainly to help with your health. That's a common thing. A lot of people go to IIN or some of the other great health coach schools. There's several, but IIN is my alma mater. I feel like where I went to, and a lot of people go there to help with their health. And then as you get healthier, you're like, well, why wouldn't you want to help someone else if you can? If you know something, help them. And then, but you learn a lot of things. And most people, most health coaches want to help everyone with everything, and they end up helping no one with nothing. And so they don't want to leave anyone out. And in the process, they leave everyone out. And it's counterintuitive. And most health coaches fall into that trap. And I myself, did as well. And or also wanting to help people prevent disease. Most of the time, they're not interested in preventing disease. So it seems always in retrospect when I'm talking to some of my health coaches that that it's obvious. Well, you had Crohn's. That's obvious that you had picked that as a niche. But you'd been in remission for how long? And was
Over
that obvious that that was what you were going to help people with?
so no, to say the truth, it wasn't. I mean, I got out of IAN with a very burning desire to help people. And you would think I have Crohn's. Well, it's normal that
Yeah,
that's what I would have. I had no idea. You
yeah,
helped me do that. Because it's exactly what you said. You want to help so many people, and it's like, well, I've learned so many things from IAN. I can help potentially everybody who
right.
doesn't have just Crohn's. So, but that's also much very confusing. I was very confused, and you brought clarity.
Yeah, it's very common, and so many of the coaches that we have, whether I'm just going to adjust my seat here, so many of the health coaches that we have, they might help people with head injury and or epilepsy or multiple sclerosis, and it seems like, well, that's obvious for them. I guarantee you it is not. And I have this process that I go through where I mine your story for the gold that's always there. So if you're watching this and you're like, well, I wasn't lucky enough to have a disease process, or I'm still in my disease process, I can't use that as a niche. I guarantee you, if you are an adult, you have lived enough life, you are expert in something. And it's usually easier for someone else, or me at least, to spot it than you, because it's just part of who you are. And I have this vast array of different people. And I always like to see, what is it about you that is unique and better than anyone else on the planet? There's something that is that, so that when someone comes across my desk, because I still have people come across my desk to help with their health, and I no longer help people with that, and I refer out to my health coaches, the health coaches that I know that they're amazing at. So if somebody comes across with Crohn's, I'm like, you got to see Clio, because you can help them better than I could. I didn't have to live with that. You can help them through your experience. So we like to carve that out. So carving out a niche was one thing. What else has, so over the time that we've been together, so initially, did you have like tons of clients? Were this just easy? Was it just they were flowing in, or was it, no, there was a process, and at the beginning you had no clients, and then now, tell us a little bit about that. Where were you before, and then what's it like now? Just kind of give us that before and after picture.
Yes. So, no, clients did not come flying to me when I started, because I know now in retrospect that I had a lot of growth to go through, both with carving out my niche and being able to really pinpoint who I'm talking to the business acumen, to growing and understanding everything that entails in doing a business, doing things that you don't like, because being a business owner has a lot of things that doing things that you don't like at the beginning, you're everything.
Yeah,
The
yeah,
CEO, everything. So, but I did not. When I started, I was very, I was really naive. I didn't think it would be easy, but I didn't think that it would be a process, a growth process to go through.
yeah.
Um,
That's,
yeah.
I
So
think the biggest myth, or the biggest thing, well, I know I didn't really appreciate it. If somebody asked me, I probably would have answered correctly, but I never really thought about it. And I went from being a medical doctor for 25 years, and now I was switching over to becoming a holistic health coach. And I thought that just meant really spending more time with my patients, talking about more nutrition and natural things. I thought it was kind of like the same, just more holistic. I didn't realize I just became an entrepreneur. I didn't want to be an entrepreneur. My brothers went into business. I went into medicine. If I'd have wanted to go into business, I'd have gone into business. And so that is another little dip that people, chasm, gap that people fall into as health coaches. They don't realize they're entrepreneurs, they're running a business. And it's a process, it's a growth identity, much like with your clients, to go from somebody who is either victim or disease state label identified, I am a Crohn's or colitis sufferer, to someone who's healthy and well. And struggling health coach, struggling artist, struggling health coach, to I am a 6 or 7 figure CEO. There's a process and an identity shift to go for. It's one thing for someone who's obese to lose 100 pounds. Very important to change this. Otherwise, you'll self sabotage yourself to be in alignment with who you see yourself as. And so that your business can only grow to the extent that you do, is a very important, thing that I learned. And, but how wonderful and magical is it? That is one of the many bonus benefits that you get out of that. The person, success is not something that you get, it's something that you become. And just, it's worth the journey. It's worth the journey. You're going to go through life anyways. Might as well make it good. So tell us a little bit about your practice now. Like, how do you, who are your clients? Where do you find them? Do you work online? Are you brick and mortar? Tell people a little bit about that and what it's like now.
Sure. So I like what you said, that at the beginning you want to help everybody, and it's true. And when we carved out my niche, it was very much detail, like very, very narrow, Crohn's disease, and it's women. And at the beginning, I felt a little stressed, like I would be missing out and excluding a big part of the population. But now I see that why I had to be so focused, because although at the beginning I was helping Crohn's and people with ulcerative colitis, progressively people came to me that did not have this condition. They have other conditions, other autoimmune diseases. Some didn't have any autoimmune diseases. Some just wanted to lose weight, because everything starts with the gut. So being very focused helped me first to know who I was talking to, because progressively people are going to come, like, knock at your door. I know you help people with Crohn's and ulcerative colitis, but I have this, can I come in? And that's how you grow your business, but it always starts with very, very small. So yeah, now I help people who have, of course, Crohn's and ulcerative colitis, but also IBS and any kind of autoimmune disease. A lot of people who want to lose weight too. It is mainly online, actually 100% online. Now I'm based in Athens, in Greece. I left Paris. That's one of the big perks of doing something that you really enjoy. And they're based in, I think I have a client in every continent right now. So it's been a joy. And the how my practice is today is that I can work as much as I want, when I want. So, and I choose the clients that I want to work with. So that has been a very big, one of the main difference with the practice that I had before as a lawyer, where you couldn't really choose your clients and you ended up working with people you didn't necessarily want to work with. Now it's night and day. I just choose the clients that I want to work with, which adds in on the fun and the passion. And I I'm looking forward to talking to my clients every week.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So awesome. So so much there. I want to just unpack it a little bit, accentuate it with an exclamation point in case people miss some of the things. So it's super important to have a niche. The way to reach many is through the one. And then people will come to you and beg you to take them on. That's kind of why the niche is important. You cannot be an expert at everything, but nobody can. So don't even try. And then if you try to be, that's where you start to get the fraud factor. because you're not an expert at everything. And there is somebody better at such and such than you. But when you operate in your zone of genius, your natural strengths, the things that you love to do, if you're doing work that you love to do that lights you up, you are naturally attractive and people will come from miles around just to watch you in your zone. We do that with people who are great basketball players or great singers. We come to watch them in their element. And there's something very attractive when you are working in your area of expertise. So carve it out, put the flagpole on that mountain and anoint yourself queen of that mountain, of that teeny tiny little niche, become expert at it. But you will get people from more and more and more and more coming to, as Clio was saying, like that they're coming for like, they, you know, it's not just Crohn's, it's other autoimmune, and I can help with gut health, and I can help with this, and I can help with your relationships, and I can help with your mood, and I can, and it starts to expand. And that's how you grow. But it comes through the one sort of narrow doorway, that the way to reach many is through the one. So it's counterintuitive. Again, another gap that people fall into on their road here. It's common mistakes. I made them all myself. That's how I know they're there. And so, okay, so that you mentioned that. You mentioned being able to work with who you want, where you want, however you want. So fantastic to be able to work online, set your own schedule, be there and earn a multiple six-figure income. You're earning more than some doctors that I know, and you have a way better lifestyle. It doesn't mean that no tragedy happens in your life. It doesn't mean sort of, you know, things don't happen. But there are some benefits when you're in control of your own schedule, and that you can like live or be or go wherever you want. You have that freedom, and to be able to pick your clients, it's worth it, you know, and it's doable. So let's just bust a couple of myths, and just before we wrap up. So here's a thing that a lot of people, when they're first coming to me, one sometimes, not so much anymore, but sometimes they will argue about why they can't have a niche or they don't need one. So we've kind of set that one aside. The other thing is they assume that you're running a bunch of paid ads, that that's the only way to do it. Do you do paid advertising?
Never done it.
Exactly. So I used to say, if you want to do paid advertising, wait until you've earned 30,000. Now I've upped it, wait until you do 100,000. And every single one of my six or multiple six-figure health coaches that I've worked with now are not doing paid advertising. They could, but they don't have to. I do paid ads still. But they don't have to. They're earning a great income with a great number of people that they want to earn. And so there hasn't been a need to. But they now have a system set up. That's very important that they could. And I think a lot of people rush into that thinking that that's something a problem they can throw money at, and they don't, that won't help. And so it's a fast way to get yourself into trouble. So now the reason why you can get around not using paid advertising is, and I know this, Cleo, is because you deliver excellent results. So excellence is our strategy. Then it's a win-win all the way around. Your clients get excellent results. If your clients didn't get excellent results, if you didn't know what you were doing, you would not be able to do this. And how great is it to have people coming to you because you are excellent at what you do? It just doesn't get any better than that. Would you say that's it? Like you have natural confidence, you deliver results, and that creates a sustainable business.
Oh, yes. I love that you mentioned confidence because that's the one thing, and not the one thing, but if I had to think about myself when I started and how I am now as I am six-figure CEO, it's night and day. It's from zero confidence to zero self-esteem to massive confidence. It's really yeah, this it goes with experience, of course. The more clients you get, the more confidence you get, for sure. But I think that my confidence grew also through our calls, through your support. And I totally agree that everything is here. So Yes. So when you have massive confidence, people also feel that. Whenever I do talks, people
Yes.
feel that. So they kind of, I attract them. We mutually attract each other. So, yes.
It's
Um,
almost like you have like this soul contract to work together. You just kind of know. And not we don't invite everybody. I don't invite everybody to work with me. It's very select. It's about 1 in 13 that we'll just pick out some diamonds. So I do cheat a little bit, as far as that goes. But Carrie, who works with me as our client concierge, our Zoom angel, we have lots of names for her. She always says we should have like time lapse photography on people when they first come in, and then see them emerging confident, because at the beginning there's doubts, there's debts, there's fears, there's like confusion, and then clear and loving and powerful in a beautiful way. It's and making and being a force and making a meaningful difference in the world. It is quite spectacular. I just, every graduation, I just get goosebumps. I can just feel it. And then just to see the difference that you guys are making, it feels so good. It feels so good all around. Your clients win, you win, I win, we all win when we're expressing, more fully who we really are. And that's lined up. Um, and it's the mindset and mechanics you talked about. We often, as we work together, I always say there's the mindset and the mechanics. There's like I teach something called the love elevator. It's in my books. So it's really important to come up from that high vibe place. But then also the mechanics, like what do you do? Like, how do you do it? And so both blending those two things together is kind of our secret sauce of how that works. What would you say is the biggest, I guess kind of two things I'm wondering about. The biggest thing that you had to learn or do differently to get where you are now. Like the biggest thing, if you were to say, from where you were, maybe from that first phone call, when we're on the call, first meeting, and maybe before you're in the program, and then now, the the turning point moment or a thing that you learned to do differently that allowed this sort of success to come through. I really feel like your success, you're already there. We're just chipping away the excess. It's what's within you. It's who you really are. And we're just chipping away the excess as opposed to finding it out there. But what would you say was some turning point moments or decisions that you made, or a shift or something that you learned that was really key in this process?
so you always say, do what works, stick with what works.
Mhm.
And for me, I think that at the beginning, I was trying many different things. You always say, think about one thing for the next 90 days.
Mhm.
Don't try to do many things because then you're not focused. And it's true. And I think what really changed for me was obviously my confidence, but understanding what my strengths were. So I do a lot of webinars on a specific platform, but my clients didn't come when I got into the platform, but I stuck to it because I like speaking. So I understood that I like speaking. I don't like writing. So doing the things that I love, understanding what I love, and doing more of that progressively and getting better at it. Progressively, clients kept coming. So now I get clients from doing just webinars, and that I enjoy very much. I got much better than when I started. So that was the turning point for me, really understanding what I'm good at and just sticking with one thing.
Yeah.
And if it works, just keep doing this.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say if it feels good, you're going in the right direction. If it feels like you're heading hitting your head against the wall, turn around and go in the other direction. You got it. One other, the paid ads was a myth buster. There's so many things that people have preconceived notions that they have to do in order to be successful and what it requires. So sometimes people think it takes you have to work many, many hours and sleepless nights in order to make this work. That's one myth that a lot of my six-figure people really it's nice to dispel that myth. So you can speak to that if you want. But the other thing is that you have to be online on TikTok and Facebook and social media and Instagram, posting like 5 times a day or else, and you have to build a huge email list or else, or you have to have this great website or else. You want to just take some pins and just pop these balloons here?
I don't have TikTok. Um, and no, I don't. That's not my strategy. I don't enjoy posting, um, uh, especially not if it's a job.
Mhm.
It's not something I enjoy. And you just said do more of things that you love. And I've managed to, and I know that some other how six-figure health coaches haven't posted either, and they've done very specific things because they did things that they love. And when it comes to my schedule, I work, well, a lot less than when I worked as a lawyer, but I just work uh, 3.5 um, times a week, like days a week.
Yeah.
I don't work on Fridays, I don't work on Monday mornings, and I don't work on Tuesday afternoons. So
So important for people to hear that, because one of the biggest things that people hold themselves back. The six-figure health coach or beyond is already within, and people have these preconceived notions. And we ask some questions when people are coming to us, through drshaunna.com, and they're trying to get one of our books or talk to us, and to find out, like, well, what would it take for me to do it? And we're happy to like point you in the right direction in that. And a lot of times they'll say, well, I don't want to put myself out there, but I guess I have to. I've had people who've come with 20,000 Instagram followers, but no clients, no income. How is that helpful? And we don't have that, but we are making a difference. So it depends. Now, I do have some of our health coaches do like social media, and it's working for them. So it can be part of your strategy, but it doesn't have to look like anybody else's. The way Clio does this is different than anybody else. And Rachel, another multiple six-figure health coach that you might hear me speak about, the way she does it, like nobody else. Claudia, six-figure health coach in Spain, she does it differently than anyone else. Cookie, like different than anyone else. So you be good for you is my motto, and it's about finding what works and using your emotions kind of as your guide. If it feels good, you're going in the right direction, keeping it narrow, keeping it specific. And really, there are not a lot of shoulds, or have tos. I mean, you have to have a niche. You really should deliver excellent results for your clients, and you should have a plan so that when you implement it, it won't burn you out. But barring that, um, be authentically you. And that's where the secret sauce and the magic is. So awesome. Well, this has been really great for people to know. And hopefully they're breathing a sigh of a relief, and they're thinking, oh, you mean I don't have to do a bunch of paid ads? You mean I don't have to post on this or that if I don't like to? It's one way. I'm not saying it's wrong, but it's not the only way. And most of my mega successful health coaches are not. I mean, they're on social media. Some of them are not on it at all, but they're on it a little bit. But that's not how they're getting clients. That's not how you get clients. There are other ways. I always say, I've been doing this so long. I've been doing it since before there was social media. So the basic principles of helping people solve their problems, that's where it's at. And if you do that excellently, people will find you, and getting yourself in front of those people. And Clio does an excellent job of looking at kind of, if you're lost in a store, if you have a child and you're lost in the store from your child, you both try to find each other, right? So if you're both looking for each other, there's a pretty good chance you're going to find each other. You might go to the store manager and say, can you make out an announcement that I'm looking for this person? If you're this person, raise your hand or go to the nearest whatever. You'll find each other. So basically what Clio's doing is saying, hey, if you're lost and you're looking for a solution for Crohn's, here's where I am. Come over here. I'm going to share with you my good stuff. And that's how they can find you. For people who are listening in and wondering, how can I find Clio? I have Crohn's. I would like to improve my gut health, some of those things. How can they reach you, Clio?
They can reach me through my website, which is www.magnificlifewithcrohns.com. And they'll hear more about my story, a few interviews that I've done, podcasts that I've been a guest in, also with you, Dr. Shaunna, which was a great interview. And they can get a free starter kit. And if they'd like to talk more about themselves, they can book a free call with me to just get to talk more about them and figure out the next best steps for them.
Awesome. And if you see above Clio's head, that is her site name, Magnifique. That's Magnifique, a nod to her Paris time. Life with Crohn's. Then Crohn's is Crohns. We'll put a link in here as well to you. If you are looking at, I'm a health coach. Could you point me in the right direction, or how can you get a free copy? I hand out free copies of Six Figure Health Coach and my other book, Free to Heal. You can just go to drshaunna.com, DRSHAUNNA.com. Anything else that you would just like to end with? Any parting words at all, Clio, for people who might be listening?
I just want to reiterate that your process works, that I was lost like the people that I help at the beginning, not knowing, with a burning desire to help, but not knowing what my first step is. And it's always the first step that is the most crucial and the most difficult to really figure out. So once you make the first steps with your process, basically you took me by the hand and you walked me through your process, then it's it's it goes without saying. I mean, it comes when you're very focused on who you're serving, and you are focused on serving.
Yes.
Then people will find you. Your people will find you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's been an absolute pleasure, Clio, to watch you grow. And I know how important this work is to you. Soul satisfying, as I call it, soul satisfying to be able to work with who you want, really make a difference in people's lives that are really struggling, but also to be able to do it in a way that also serves your life, because you matter too, so that you have time with your loved ones and when they need it, when you need it. And that's a game changer. I mean, that's more than any income at all. And so at the beginning, and you can't see your way and it's confusing, it can be hard, but it's worth the journey, guys. It's worth the journey. It's really good. Or it can be, but it's a process and it doesn't happen by default, at least not that I've seen, not quickly anyway. So it was an absolute pleasure, Clio. Thank you for all that you do, and for everyone that you do it. So thank you. And for all of you for tuning in, shine your lights, go out, shine your lights, and of course, be good for you.